Hi there, I'm Tamika Elikem, and this is episode 5 of season 1. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about ideas you can have to start your own business. This episode is titled, as you can see, What Can I Sell? Now, when it comes to the issue of buying and selling, there are many things you can do to earn money. I've had several people come to me asking me, what can I sell? I want to sell something, but I really don't know. I want something that is not common, something that is very competitive in the market, something that people are going to buy. Well, the answer is whatever you are going to sell, there is somebody else doing it. You are not the first person going to start selling what you're going to sell. Despite the fact that it may not be common doesn't mean you are the only person. Trust me, there is nothing new under the sun, as it says in Ecclesiastes. But you can do something unique that nobody else does. So if everybody is selling shoes, you can do the same shoe selling, but yours can be different. And what will differentiate you from other people is your branding. That is the first thing a customer sees when they see your business. How are you going to brand your business? We're going to talk about all these things in this episode. Make sure you stick and stay to the very end. Now, what do I sell? You have some capital there, you want to start a business. What can you sell? Now, we have businesses that have low, medium, and high capital levels. What I mean is, there are some businesses that you can start with little capital. Some businesses, you have to have a bit of a capital there. And some businesses, you have to start with a lot of money. All these things are dependent on the kind of business you want to enter in and also your budget. Some people have low budgets, about 300 cedis, 200 cedis, and they want to do something with that money. Now, you know that with this inflation of late, starting a business with about 200 cedis may be rare, but then you have some businesses that do wholesale that you may want to patronize and start your very own business. I'm going to take you through all that within this episode. Now, before I go more into the high, medium, and low capital levels, I want to talk about the kind of businesses that you can start with. We have businesses that are grouped into two categories. We have skilled businesses and unskilled businesses. When I say skilled business, I'm talking about businesses that deserve a skill or that require a skill in order to produce or in order to sell. For example, when you want to start sewing, you need to learn how to sew. For instance, if you want to start making clothes commercially, you need to learn how to sew. Learning how to sew is a skill. So we have businesses that you can never start if you do not have that skill. And we have businesses that need zero skill level. Businesses that you just need to buy and sell. Those businesses I have classified under unskilled business. Now, in my own opinion, skilled businesses are the businesses that generate more income. That is in my point of view, because most of the businesses I have are handiwork and are skillful businesses. So I do nails. I am a press-on nail artist, or I'm a nail artist. I used to do acrylic nails at a point. I haven't completely stopped, but it's on the line right now. But I'm currently still doing press-on nails. Now, this business is a skillful business because I had to learn how to make nails, how to do nail art, how to do everything that has to do with nails. And once I learned this, I turned my knowledge into money. That is the thing with skillful businesses. You learn a skill and you generate that skill into money. If you are learning a skill that has no potential of earning you money, I'll suggest you drop that skill, because what is the point? But some people just want to learn things for learning's sake, and that's totally fine. Now, I'm going to take you through some businesses that are skilled businesses that you can learn and also generate money from your skill. These businesses are high-paying businesses because not everybody can do it. There are just specific gurus that are in the market that do it perfectly. That is why, in my point of view, these businesses are more high-paying than the rest. Now, we have nails, like press-on nails, acrylic nails, nails in general. This falls under the beauty industry. Now, most services under the beauty industry are skillful businesses, like lash technician. The person fixes lashes. This is a skilled business. You need to learn how to do it. We have brow business, people that do ombre brows, microblading, and all those kind of things. It's a skill. Then we have nails. Then we have waxing. All these things fall under the beauty industry, and it's a skill. We have many of these businesses who are already in the market. They are running courses you can sign up for. Some of these courses are inexpensive, or even though they may be expensive, it's a skill you are learning for a lifetime. And when you are paying for these courses, you shouldn't feel like you are wasting your money, because once you learn this skill, it's going to be generated into money. And that is the main reason why you are learning a skill. The second skillful business on the market is dressmaking. We have seamstresses around, tailors around that create bespoke pieces for people. We have many fashion designers in this industry, and this industry generates a lot of money. I myself, I also know how to make dresses. I am not a pro yet as these top brands, but I have a business that I sew for people with the skill I have, and I generate some income here and there from it. Then we have photography. Now with photography, it's a skill because you need to learn editing, how to maneuver a camera, how to shoot at various angles, the various type of lenses to buy for a camera. It's a whole world on its own. I have a photography business. I deal in product photography. I take product pictures or videos, or I create commercials for brands. So if you are interested in something like that, I am wide open. My DMs are there. You can contact me. This business I thought was easy when I was first starting. But when I did enter, I realized that there was much more I needed to learn in order to succeed. You need to learn how to, as I said, maneuver a camera, because a camera is a gadget that has a lot of fidgeting to do. You need to know how to press this, do that. The camera is just complex for somebody who has no idea of cameras. And you need to know how to take pictures in general in order to succeed at this business. This business goes hand in hand with editing. So if you don't know how to edit, you don't know how to use Adobe Premiere Pro and all those editing apps, you cannot carry on with this business. Now, the other skillful business I have here is graphic designing. Now, we have logos, flyers. Everything that has to do with graphic designing is a skill. No random person can just get up and then start doing it if you don't have a skill. Again, these skills can be learned. You just need to sign up for a course. If you don't find anybody online who is doing a course that you want to study, YouTube is there. YouTube is absolutely free. I can say most of my businesses that I have today, I got the knowledge from YouTube. I have a photography business. I can take pictures. I have a sewing business. I sew clothes. I have a nail business. I make nails. I also do a bit of graphic designing, but I'm not really a pro there, so it's not really done commercially. All these things I learned on YouTube for free. Some people may not be like me that learn fast. That is okay. You just need to find somebody that will teach you. Recently, I've been into fashion illustration where I draw fashion figures for brands to use for their illustrations. All these businesses are skillful business, and because it may be rare or because it is rare, when people discover that you are good in that particular skill, they tend to patronize you more. That's why I first started off by saying that skillful businesses tend to generate more money than unskilled businesses. Because with skillful businesses, you have the ability to create something unique that nobody else has done. This gives you sort of a monopoly over that product that you have created that nobody else has. And when others see this, they are interested, they buy it, and then your business goes on from there. Now, moving on to unskilled businesses. Now, when we talk about unskilled business, this brings us to the issue of importation. In one of my episodes, I talked about how to import from China. You can go back and listen to it to have an in-depth knowledge on how to do this. So I'm going to talk about some businesses you can do as an unskilled person who wants to start a business. Of late, mobile phone accessories are selling. When I talk about mobile phone accessories, I'm talking about phone cases. I'm talking about accessories that are used on phone to beautify it or to make it more stronger, because everybody has a smartphone these days. So if you find a vendor in China that can provide you with these goods and you sell it, you will make good money, because almost everyone is buying a phone case. Almost everyone is buying a screen protector. Almost everybody is buying a charger head, a charger cord. Anything that has to do with mobile phones, you can start up. You just need to get some capital. You don't even need to break the bank. With mobile phone accessories, they are not quite expensive. They are quite inexpensive, and especially if you are buying it at wholesale price from China, you get the price very good, very cheap. Bring it to Ghana and then resell at a good price. Then we have clothing. So if you can't sew, if you can't make your own dresses, you can import clothing. There are 1,001 clothing shops around now, and that shouldn't discourage you. The fact that a market is saturated doesn't mean that you can't excel in it. There's actually room for everybody here. No matter what you sell, you will still get clients. It's not like nobody's going to buy. You just need to work on your branding, because as I said, branding is the first thing a customer will see when they come to your page. You need to have a social media presence. You need to tell your customers, you need to show and prove to your customers that buying from you is actually going to be worth it. That is what will differentiate yourself from your other competitors. I will actually speak more on online presence probably in the next episode or in the next 2 episodes. Look at the market. Look at what women, if you want to enter into women clothing, look at what women wear these days. Other clothing that relates to that kind of clothing that women wear. If you have a particular niche in the sense that you have a particular target audience, particular people that you want to sell your clothes to, you buy clothes that will align with that niche. If you want to sell to office women who have office jobs, then you get corporate clothing for these women. You don't need to sell every kind of clothing. People hardly sell every kind of clothing of late. You need to find a particular type of clothing you are selling. And there are a lot of women who have corporate jobs. So if you decide to enter into clothing and you buy corporate clothes, it's going to be a good business venture for you. But the downside of buying clothing and shoes especially is the size. Because when you are buying a particular dress, it's more likely you have to get it in every other size, which may increase your capital spent on the products. This applies for shoes and clothes because shoes and clothes have sizes attached to them. So that may be the only downside. If you are starting with a low budget, you cannot start clothing and shoe business. Clothing and shoe business is more on the high to medium capital budget. Now, another unskilled business you can enter is mother care business. There are lots of mothers around who have children. You can start up a small mother care shop, if not a physical shop, online, baby food, baby clothing especially. You can get several affordable baby clothing from China to import and sell because mothers are always looking for clothes to buy for children. Children outgrow things easily. So you realize that mothers are constantly buying clothes for their children from the ages of 0 months to about 4 years. You keep receiving customers from mothers. It's a very lucrative business you can enter in. Many people don't know about this, but it's a very lucrative business. Then we have wigs. With the issue of wigs, it depends on what kind of wigs you want to enter to. If you want to enter into synthetic wigs, which may not sell because of late nobody really likes wearing synthetic wigs, your capital may not be as high as human hair wigs. The capital you will spend for a wig business is on the high side. So you just get prepared, brace yourself, because you can't start a wig business with a low budget. You need to buy bundles. And if you don't want to deal in bundles, you can get the factory-made wigs, which are still not cheap. Good and quality human hair cost. The wholesale price for a single wig can be about 500 cedis. That is what you see vendors selling in Ghana for about 1,000 cedis and beyond. But if you are buying one wig for 500 cedis and you want to stock up about 10 wigs, you can calculate how much that will cost you. That tells you that with wig business, you need to have capital. But there's also a lot of markets for wigs, especially if your wigs are good and affordable and you don't overprice your wigs. People are really going to buy. But the issue becomes the capital that you use for this business. That is always the issue with wigs. Now, another unskilled business that I will suggest most people enter in if they don't know what to sell is to enter into a supplies shop. What I mean is you sell supplies for people who have businesses in Ghana. So if you want to enter into the supply shop, probably sewing supplies. You sell supplies that seamstresses will come and buy for their shop or for their business or whatever. Nail supplies, beauty supplies. This business is lucrative because we have a lot of seamstresses around that will turn to you to buy their products from you to stock their shop. We have a lot of beauticians, estheticians, nail techs around that will come to your nail supply shop or beauty supply shop to purchase products from you. This business is very lucrative because you are like a source of supplies for other businesses. So it's definitely lucrative. Such businesses, you hardly struggle to get customers because once a business sees that you are selling supplies, they will follow instantly and then be watching you. And then when they need an item, they will buy. It's a very lucrative business. If you run out of ideas completely, you should definitely check this business out. If you're not sure what supplies to sell, just look in your environment. What business is thriving? What business is successful? And with supply business, it has to be linked with the skilled business criteria because it's only those who are into skilled businesses that will buy their supplies from you. Now, if we remember, I spoke about nail business, I spoke about photography, I spoke about dressmaking. Now, with photography, we have camera supplies, we have lenses, we have camera gears in general. So, with that, you have a supply shop for that. For dressmaking, we have a supply shop for dressmaking, thread, needle, thimble, all those sewing accessories. For nail supplies, as I just mentioned, we have a supply shop that will sell nail polishes, UV lamps, and etc. So with supply shops, it always has a connection with the skilled businesses, as I mentioned earlier. This episode is going to be in two parts. The second part, we're going to talk about what to do when you find out the business you want to sell, or what you would do when you have settled on the business idea you want to venture in. In that episode, we're going to talk about marketing, how to put yourself on social media, branding, and everything you need to hear as a new business. If you are a business and you would like to be featured on this podcast, you can send me a DM. To be featured on a singular podcast, it is 150 Ghana cedis. Our episodes are posted on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube, so you have enough exposure. Thank you guys for listening or watching, and catch you in the next one.